Hi everyone, it's UC Blessings. Today I'll be sharing my personal story around faith. I'm going to anchor it with this scripture that says in the book of 1 John chapter 4 verse 4. It says, "Ye have of God little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world." And also Romans 8:37 says, "Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us." So it's just a story of my second childbirth. I've had that faith. I really wanted to experience a natural birth without operation, to just give birth normally as a woman. So it didn't really come easy for me. In my first child, I really planned it. I read this book, Supernatural Childbirth, and even that's before I even got married, before I got engaged. I was reading the book and praying over my childbirth period of time. I read it. I was tutoring at that time, so there was this lady I was tutoring for. She was pregnant. I got this book for her. I gave it to her. This particular woman, she has even been having natural birth. But the supernatural birth, if you have read that book, you will see that it talks about a painless delivery. It talks about delivering with testimony and even a whole lot of things. So I gave it to her. I also gave the book to my mom. She used it to begin to counsel some young sisters that are married, some young sisters that are pregnant, that is ready to give birth, And she even told me, oh, if she had had this book before now, that her own deliveries would have been so much more easier. Okay, so but that's about that supernatural child. But I always had it in mind. So when I had my first child, I had my first child through cesarean section rather. So okay, we'll talk about that in another video, but today I just want to talk about my second birth. So I've already had a previous CS. For everyone that had CS, is always true. It's always a follow-up. Just have it in mind that you're going to continue giving birth by operation. Is always a typical thing that we do. So I always had that in mind. I was even thinking about it, but suddenly I began to have it in mind. God can help me through this. God can help me to give birth naturally, no matter what. I can try it again. So I begin to put my faith to that. I listen to some gospel music. I begin to read the word of God about that, to strengthen my faith. I begin to really plan for that. So I also changed my hospital. The hospital I gave birth in for my first child, they told me, yes, of course you can give birth normally. After like 1 year, you should be able to try another level. We'll put you on a trial. They call it trial of labor after CS. The thing is trial. If it doesn't work, you're going to go for CS, because you don't want any story, because it's very risky to go for a natural delivery after you have had CS. So much risk that are involved in it. And so they told me this, and I had it in mind, but I was still encouraged. So, but what I did is that, like I said, I changed the hospital I used. I went to a different hospital to give birth. So when I went to this new hospital, I told them about how I wanted to try giving birth naturally after I have had a 4-bowel CS. So they said, oh, it's possible. You have had we've had a lot of births like that, a lot of testimony like that. It was a redeemed maternity. And so they told me of a story of this woman that has had twins by cesarean operation. She had twins. So after that, she desired a natural delivery, and she came to them, and they told him, they guided her rather, and then she gave birth normally. So they told me that the key thing is that you're not going to be eating a lot of food. You're going to be eating small, so that your baby can be small, and you will try labor, and you give birth normally, because we're just considering this one as your first time birth. What a birth is that's the first time I'm trying to give birth naturally, and so that this is the key, to eat small, to eat very little quantity of food. That the woman they were testifying about, her child was weighing only 2.5, and there was a particular thing there was a test that they went for, that they would check if the pelvic, if the size is big enough to contain this head of the baby and whether it can come out naturally. They said this particular lady went for it and it was okay because that baby's weight was very low. So that was the first tip, the first challenge I ran along with. My baby must be small. I'm not going to give birth to I'm not going to have a big child, so I can give birth naturally. I began to lose weight. I began to eat very little quantity of food. Sometimes I don't even eat, but I just make sure I take fruits and vegetable. At the point, even the doctors advise us take more of beans, take beans. So I began to take beans like twice a day. So in the afternoon you take beans and stew, in the night you take beans and vegetable. You just take little or no carbohydrate just to make sure that the baby is sizable and it can easily come out. Taught us a lot of breathing exercise, breathing technique. But then there came my first challenge. The first challenge was that the baby's head was up. It wasn't down. And you know, for a child to come out, it has to come up with the head first. That's just very typical. The baby always comes out with the head first, not the legs. Most times, when the leg is down, it's going to be CS. It's going to be operation straight away. You don't argue it. You just prepare. They say the baby is breech. So when I went for the scan, they checked, they said the baby is breech. The baby was the pregnancy was about 5 months then. So it's breech. I prayed, I cried. Hey God, now that I want to give birth naturally, my baby is breech. Just typical for operation. God, what do I do? God, have mercy on me. And I was really battling with eating very little quantity of food. I was losing weight. I was very tired because I was taking care of my toddler. Food was just about 1 year plus, about 1 year 9 months or thereabout. I had just started school. I had to prepare him for school runs, a lot of things. So the baby was now breech. It was still like that. They say, okay, don't worry. When the baby is 36 weeks, that's 5 weeks, yes, 35 weeks, you check if it's still breech. By then it would have done. So my dear, when it got to that particular stage, the baby was still breech. The baby was still like that. It hasn't turned. God. And the baby was 2.7 then. I said, wow. But all this food I have not I've stopped eating, and at the point I was getting so fagged out, couldn't carry myself. Sometimes when I go out and I try to, I'm standing, maybe I'm shopping for some things, I just try to, I'm about to fall. I feel myself as if I'm about to fall down. I begin to lose strength. I couldn't really carry the pregnancy like that again. I said, wow, what's all these things? I kept on having faith that the baby would turn. So I bought this yoga ball and I started practicing with yoga ball. There are so many exercises on YouTube how you can turn a baby that the head is down, the head is up rather. How you can turn that baby up again. So, I was just hoping that the baby will turn. I did the exercise a lot, and at the end, there was for one time it seems I had labor. I went to the hospital to check. They said, the baby is not head down. He has turned back. I didn't even tell us that initially early stages of the pregnancy I had a lot of pains. Abdominal pains. The pains were so severe. I said, what is all these things? And I didn't know it was because the baby's head was up. I had a lot of pains. It was very hard moving from one place to another. And so, but to God be the glory, I was able to overcome all these challenges till the day I gave birth. Our faith does not see darkness at all. I made it. At the end of everything, I gave birth to my baby naturally. I had that natural labor, but it was a long one. And when I went to the maternity, that first time that it was forced labor, they checked me. They said the baby has turned up again. The head is no longer down. I went home. I started praying again. Started trusting God. And finally, the next week, I went for a scan, and the baby's head was down. Thank God, I was so happy. But the baby's face was up. He was facing up. Typically the baby's face is down. Baby will be facing down, so that when the baby comes out, you see the baby face first. You see the back of the baby head first. you know, the face will be up, but his own face was down. And so gave me a lot of back labor. Back labor means that the back of your back, your lower back will be paining you, aching you a lot like fire. You know, that those days it was difficult walking. And it's kind of false labor because the labor should be more in the abdomen, face, your front side than the back. I'll be walking. So one time, I and my friend, we walked around. They said, go and walk about. Probably by the time you come back, pregnant women will know about this, and mothers that have delivered. By the time you come back, you see your labor must have increased and you will give back. I walked a lot from street to street, over 20 minutes walking, and I had back labor. Hey, my back was aching me a lot. It was like fire. And I didn't have anything. There was no labor. When I went and it was checked, it was still 2 cm. No progress. You know, 2 cm is very, very far away from 10 cm. And so I kept at it. They said, go back home, and labor will come. If you really want to give birth naturally, that was what the matron told me. If you really want to give birth naturally, you have to have patience so that the labor can come naturally. Because as a person that has gone through CS, you can't be induced. You know, if someone that hasn't gone through CS, you say, okay, the date has come already, the EDD has come, so let us just slide down. We'll induce the labor to make it faster, and then you give back. But now that you have a scar, you have the CS scar, we can't do that. And again, they told me that, how old is your first child? I said 2 years, because it was just 2 years. They said that in this maternity, we don't we don't try natural labor after just 2 years. You have to get to 3 years before you try it. And now we are seeing the CS scar in your front. We can see that it is healed, but we don't know how it is inside. So any attempt, it may rupture the womb, you know, all these stories. Hey, God, God have mercy on me. Oh. You know, I was just anxious. I said, God, let my faith not fail. Oh. My faith never sees darkness. And so I went home that day because they've checked. It's still the same 2 cm. So I don't know, it's like 4 days later, they told me like tomorrow it may come. They didn't come. I just realized because I didn't want to go to the hospital, and then they said that it's not yet time. They say it's not yet time, you should go back again. So I went. I was waiting for the labor to improve and all of that. And all this time again, I didn't check the weight again, the weight of the child. But like I said, like I was feeling fagged out a lot because of not eating well, not eating very, very well. During my pregnancy, I started now eating everything that I really wanted to eat. I started eating normally. I regained my strength back. And so I was just eating and then hoping for the labor to improve. I was also doing exercises every morning. I took walks. I walked out with my family. I came back. I walked around the house a lot. So on the day when the labor finally came, nobody told me this one was labor. It was very hard. Very severe pain that I couldn't even move. That day, what did I even drink? I drank Zobo with ginger. It was very, very hot. The labor continued till we had to leave home around 11. I packed my bags, packed my baby bag, packed for my little son, my toddler, and off. We entered the car and we zoomed off to the hospital. And so I told them that the pain was now very severe. They said that this is really it. I even called a matron. By then, she has traveled to Redemption Camp. She was no longer, but she assured us that the midwives were on seat. We should go to the maternity. So as we got there, I explained to them. They checked me. It was still 2 cm. And then they told me finally that if we wait till morning and there's no progress in this the cm, it doesn't increase, it's not progressing, we'll have to refer you to hospital. God, I was just crying. I said, God, have mercy on me. My faith never sees darkness. You know, that's what I say. It may be dark now, but my faith never sees darkness. I was still having faith against faith, hope against hope. I just really wanted to experience it, and God came through for me. When the morning came, I entered the labor room. That was the day that Gio was born also, the 2nd March 2021. It is so wonderful. God, I gave birth to my baby. It was a labor of 3 hours, but it kept progressing. It kept progressing. It kept progressing till 6 cm, to 8 cm, till 10 cm. Before you knew it, I gave birth. I saw the baby come out of my body like this, crying. A very big baby. He was weighing 4.2 kg. Sorry, 4.2 kg. I was shouting. The matrons, the midwives, they were shouting. It was so significant. It was truly an example of what God did. It was something that is close to impossible. God, you are wonderful. As I recall this, we are more than conquerors. We are more than conquerors. It doesn't matter what you're facing, what your expectations are, whether they have told you that it's impossible, that it is hard to accomplish. Because I had a lot of people that were telling me, no, better go and do another CS. What do you want to prove? Go and do another CS. Hey, my dear brothers and sisters. So God did it for me. God did it for me. In fact, when they announced my birth, because we had this support group of pregnant women, and there are many people amongst us that were hoping to give birth after CS, after they have already had a previous CS. When they announced my own, they didn't just say after previous year. They said after previous year, I'm 4.2 kg. If a baby costs 4 kg, only 4 kg, it's risky already to give birth. At that stage, it's risky. So, my dear sisters and brothers, I did 4.2 kg after CS, after previous CS, and I'm still here. I'm alive. I didn't have any complication whatsoever. My womb is intact. There was no rupturing, no problems at all. Give God the glory. I give God the praise. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. And even right now, the baby is 10 months, and very soon he'll be clocking his 1-year-old. So I am bringing this. No at all. No form of complications. No high blood pressure. Nothing. Even that test they were saying, let us check whether the head can come out through the pelvic, whether the side. I didn't go through that test, and I came back normally. This is God. I was so happy, grateful. I said, God has done it for me. Oh, God has done this thing for me that I trusted Him for. In fact, indeed, with God, all things are possible. There is nothing too hard for God. That is my testimony. I hope you're encouraged by this testimony. I hope your feet rise. And if you're pregnant, you've had CS, and you're planning to go through normal. Sorry, my baby woke up. This is the baby I'm talking about. His name is Oluipobechuku, the miracle of God, Enoch. I'm so grateful to God, and this is the end of my video today. If you like it, please don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.